Dangerous situations happen in our world every single day. Some of them are caused by nature, while others are the result of human actions. In this video, I present to you a compilation of moments that demonstrate just how unpredictable our lives can be. Enjoy watching. Fans of a Dutch football team were so happy about the victory that they started jumping in unison. However, the stand could not withstand such a load. Fortunately, no one was injured. These shots, filmed in Afghanistan, capture the moment a helicopter carrying officials on board crashed. The cause of the accident was a technical malfunction. The passengers were extremely lucky as all of them survived. During the fire, this bus looked like a flamethrower. Although the footage looks terrifying, don't worry. There was no one inside the vehicle at the time. These shots were taken in Bangkok. In front of shocked witnesses, a huge section of road near a hospital suddenly collapsed. As a result, a massive sinkhole formed, into which cars and power poles fell. Bangkok Governor Chadchart Sitaput, who arrived at the scene together with experts, stated that the collapse most likely occurred due to tunneling work at a nearby underground station. Many might think that these shots show riots in the city, or even a terrorist attack. But in reality, this is the beginning of a powerful earthquake. The launch of this vessel did not go according to plan. Unfortunately, such incidents do happen due to mistakes made by specialists. Just imagine the fear the driver must have felt when a massive truck was sliding straight toward his car. Fortunately, everything ended well. The builders overestimated the stability of the crane. Because of this mistake, the load outweighed it, resulting in a serious accident. For some reason, the man decided to sit on a table, which he later deeply regretted. If you ever notice that a building is in serious danger, be sure to warn others. This man did exactly that.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Guys! Oh my goodness! Hey, out of the building! Out of the building! Out of the building, out of the building! Holy...
Employees of a clothing store noticed water seeping from under the floor tiles and quickly ran outside. As it turned out, this decision was correct because just a few seconds later, the entire store was flooded. The men were installing glass doors in a shop. One of them got so carried away with using a hammer that he didn't notice hitting the glass. Now he will have to compensate for the damage. This video was filmed by builders from the Canadian city of Coquitlam. Before their eyes, cracks began to appear in a wall. Soon, a large part of it collapsed, and debris and dirt fell to the ground. Fortunately, no one was injured. This guy didn't want to make several trips for bricks, so he overloaded the car to its limit. It didn't lead to anything good. The worker was supervising the movement of a load for transportation, but something went wrong and the crane cables snapped. As a result, the load fell onto a car standing next to the man. When it seemed that the danger was already over, other cables began to fall, and one of the fragments still hit the worker. This house, built on the edge of a rocky slope, had stood there for many years, but nature decided that it spoiled the picturesque landscape and destroyed it with a landslide. A man in a kayak noticed a huge wave approaching. He had no time to switch to another vessel, so he chose a different solution. Fortunately, he managed to ride the wave and stay afloat. These houses look solid and reliable, but the example of one of them clearly shows that this is not always the case. A landslide demonstrates just how deceptive appearances can be. The man got so carried away playing a hammer arcade game that he completely forgot about his ice cream and accidentally dropped it. These shots capture the moment of a dam breach. Such incidents are usually the result of record rainfall and poor technical maintenance of the structure. The builders made a serious mistake, but hoped that the consequences would not be too severe. Just seconds later, the entire structure collapsed, covering an excavator with debris and soil. In addition, a neighboring residential building was also on the verge of collapse. Surprisingly, there were no casualties. For unknown reasons, this tower crane refused to continue working and simply folded in half. In these shots, you can see how an ordinary wave gains power, turns into a mini tsunami, and floods everything around it. At the workplace, you must always remain alert. Otherwise, irreversible consequences may occur, as happened to this driver. The dam structure could not withstand the volume of water and completely collapsed. This tractor could not handle the race, but it impressed the spectators far more than all the other participants. After the earthquake, this building was severely damaged, so the authorities decided to demolish it. Where all this trash came from remains a mystery, but it almost caused a train derailment. A woman decided to record a cute video with her dog, but the swing could not withstand their weight, and they fell. Despite the incident, she still stayed positive. Apparently, the workers believed their crane was all-powerful, so they did not even take its load capacity into account.
No!
This was probably the worst day in the career of this ship's captain. Even the most modern and luxurious buildings cannot withstand natural forces, sometimes even something as simple as heavy rain. Just because a structure has been standing for decades does not mean it does not require regular inspections and maintenance. This is what fire can do in just a few seconds. It was an ordinary day for a woman and her dogs until a lightning strike suddenly occurred. They were so frightened that they ran into the house together at the same time. A man was filming a famous train, but failed to notice another one approaching. He stood so close that he almost got hit. It would seem impossible to trip over steps you walk on several times a day, but this guy proves that anything is possible. It looks like this lawnmower got so tired that it completely lost control. The maid was supposed to take dirty dishes to the kitchen, but encountered an obstacle in the form of stairs. She decided not to give up and rolled the cart down, but failed to control it, and it crashed loudly at the bottom. Well, now someone won't have to wash the dishes. The driver was in a hurry and made an illegal overtaking maneuver. Because of this, a cement truck driving behind had to brake sharply. The contents of the mixer spilled onto the violator's car and the vehicle he was overtaking. Now he urgently needs to go to a car wash. The guy approached the ball and noticed something suspicious, so he quickly moved away from it. A few seconds later, the ball exploded. The owner of this car found himself in a very unpleasant and dangerous situation. While crossing a railway crossing, the car's front wheel came off. The driver of the vehicle behind did not stop to help and simply drove away. Fortunately, the owner of the damaged car was not alone at that moment. With the help of his friends, he managed to remove the car from the crossing. During spectacular training exercises, a Malaysian Navy vessel crashed into another one, causing real panic among the crew. During floods, bridges often suffer serious damage, and in some cases collapse in half due to the impact of powerful water flows. This happens because of erosion of the soil supporting the pillars, the formation of scour holes around them, and loads exceeding the design limits of the structure. That is exactly what happened in this case. Fortunately, no one was injured. Climbing a high mountain is an extremely risky and dangerous activity. Any mistake can lead to irreversible consequences. Apparently, this boat got tired of sailing and decided to rest on green grass. The car owner was confident that the vehicle was safe under a canopy. However, that was not the case. The canopy could not withstand the heavy amount of snow and collapsed onto the car. A man found himself in a dangerous situation when a truck wheel rolled straight toward him. Fortunately, he managed to step aside in time. What could be the worst possible start to the day? For example, like this guy's morning, when he literally fell through the ground. Hopefully, he is okay. The owner of a sports car decided to perform a flashy maneuver and make a high-speed turn, but failed to consider the lane divider that got in his way.
Hey, bro, you can't park there.
Firefighters' work is always extremely difficult and dangerous. You never know what might happen the next second. Fortunately, while extinguishing this massive fire, none of the rescuers were injured.
Oh, that's hot. Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
You get a picture of that, buddy?
Yeah, I did. The video. Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
Sometimes curiosity gets the better of people, and they continue to stay and watch the power of nature, such as during this landslide. However, in such situations, it is important to remember that nature is unpredictable and treacherous, so it is better to stay away from such places. A replica of the Statue of Liberty in Brazil could not withstand strong winds and collapsed. As a result of the fall, the statue lost its head, and the torch flew several meters away from the pedestal. Surprisingly, even in a church, awkward and funny situations can happen, like this one. Who knows, maybe it wasn't accidental, and God decided to knock some sense into this guy's head. Suddenly, a truck tire burst, causing the vehicle to veer into the oncoming lane. Fortunately, there was no one on that side of the road at the time. Workers were trying to load a tree onto a truck platform, but it turned out to be so heavy that it outweighed the crane. Warning: these shots may cause the development of another phobia, this time related to visiting glass-bottom pools. The authors of this video noticed a crack in the road surface. Before their eyes, the asphalt began to rise, and then the worst happened. Part of the cliff on which the road was built collapsed and fell down toward the river, dragging a power line pole with it.
Vai, bicho. Vai, não. Baby. Vai, bicho.
A wind turbine falling into the water looks incredibly spectacular, although if you know how much it costs, the sight becomes much less entertaining. A snowboarder saw his friend fall and decided to help him. However, when he detached his snowboard from his boots, the board slipped down the slope. The guy tried to catch it, but unfortunately failed. A logging truck skidded slightly, and the driver made an emergency stop. At that moment, one log fell out of the trailer and landed less than a meter away from a passerby. One could say he was extremely lucky. Why these guys decided to remove a beehive remains a mystery, but it was a very bad idea. The guys were filming a crack in the ground, and at that exact moment they witnessed the collapse of a bridge. Just imagine the frustration the man felt as he watched his wine collection shatter into pieces right before his eyes. Why the cabinet started falling in the first place remains a mystery. During his practical training, an electrician made a mistake that led to a short circuit and a fire. Perhaps he simply chose the wrong profession.
Выполняй.
A woman parked her car near her house but forgot to engage the handbrake. Taking advantage of the situation, the car decided to escape from its inattentive owner. These shots were captured during a serious accident at a copper smelting plant. When water from a boiler entered the furnace, a powerful explosion occurred, destroying an entire workshop. They say birds can sense danger very well. Perhaps that is why they flew away from the power line before the explosion, or maybe they were the cause of the explosion themselves. The guys decided to show off their air suspension, but it could not withstand such a jump. Even so, it still looked impressive. Sometimes, due to a mistake, ship captains are unable to take control of the situation and avoid a collision. However, they always try to minimize possible damage. In this case, the captain did everything he could. A freight train was moving at high speed when several tanker cars suddenly derailed. Unfortunately, canopies are not always able to protect your car. However, in this case, the vehicle owner was still lucky. These people witnessed a landslide that not only knocked down all the trees in its path, but also destroyed a road. At that moment, the driver's entire life flashed before his eyes. The men were filming the rescue of a truck and nearly got injured by falling fragments of the cab. You might have already guessed that the truck would lose its cargo. However, it happened at a completely unexpected moment when the vehicle was stopped and standing still. Fortunately, there were no people nearby at the time. This video was filmed in the Indian city of Noida. The footage shows how two towers almost 100 meters tall turned into a pile of rubble within seconds. Do not worry though, it was a controlled demolition using explosives. That's all from me. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Your support is the best reward for me. Thank you for watching. See you soon. Goodbye.